Hi, I'm Ashley with NAPLEX Time. How are you guys doing? We are starting right now. We're answering some of your questions. So feel free to message and please post in the chat box there and I'll answer your questions. We had one question already from a student and I'm posting it up here, giving you a moment to look through it and waiting for some other questions to come in. So this is a case-centric question. How are you guys doing? Please go ahead and use your post a comment. It really helps me out. It will get my name out there a little bit more. And post anything you want to say whatsoever. And do you know what case centra is for? How about that? What's case centra for? When there's bleed, right? Somebody on warfarin and there's bleed. So it has factors 2, 7, 9, and 10, right? The same thing that warfarin inhibits and protein C and S. And case centra is actually dosed based off of the factor 9 component. It's units of factor 9 times kilograms body weight, and it depends on the INR. So if you haven't seen this before, it is helpful, especially before you get to the NAPLEX, to have done a question at least with case centra dosing. So notice that we have different units per kilogram body weight, and body weight would just be regular total body weight. 25 units per kilogram if the INR is less than 4, between 2 and less than 4, 35 units per kilogram if it's 4 to 6, and 50 units per kilogram if it's greater than 6. So the INR in this patient is, I'm flipping back and forth to see if, awesome, yes, warfarin reversal. Thank you, Gail, you're the best. I love it. Anybody else, please message. The more messaging, the better. All right. I'm going to have to flip between screens because I'm new to this and I don't really know how to do it. So now what we're going to do is what do we need to do? What should I look for? We said INR was 7.2. So Gail, what area do I look at? You are right, greater than 6. And that takes us to 50 units per kilogram body weight. And notice that we have a maximum dose here. If we had anybody that was greater than 100 kilograms, this is the max, 100 kilograms, right? 100 times 50 is 5,000. So if they were, but this person is only 92 kilograms, so we will not go over the max. So that is okay. So the way that we could write it out would be 50. We know that we need to use 50 units per kilogram. And Gail, do I divide here or multiply? Do I divide kilograms? What do I do? 92 kilograms. So that I can cross out my units, I do need to multiply. I need to multiply, and then what do you get? Oh, you know what? You cannot see the way I have it set up. You can't see my calculator, but I am typing in 50 times 92 kilograms, and I got 4600. 4600 units, right? Because my kilograms cross out. Okay, we didn't go over a max, but is that what they actually asked? We should always be starting with the question first. Using the dosing chart below, how many milliliters of the reconstituted vial should be administered to this patient. So I'm going to look for milliliters of the reconstituted vial. And let me tell you this much. We earlier did some dimensional analysis, and I have to say, I like dimensional analysis the best. So after we work it through this way, step by step, I'm going to go back and we're going to do it the way I think it's the easiest, dimensional analysis. And I'll show you guys how to avoid any of this extra information that happens so frequently on questions like this. Okay, so we had the 4,600 units, but we really want milliliters. So I need to look for a way to convert. And I know many of you, based off of working with you so much, do like proportions. So I saw units and milliliters together here. So 25 units, so it's concentration, 25 units per 1 ml. Let's set that up equal to 4,600 units over X mLs. And what do you get for X? Everybody, please answer, please message. Yeah, I love it, Gail. Thank you so much. Just chat me up. Just keep putting tons and tons of messages, even if it's only you, because I think Facebook does something with that. And some people were able to make it that wanted to today. They had questions. 184. Nice job. 184. Okay. So you cross multiply and divide 4,600 times 1 divided by 25, and you got 184 milliliters. And I think you asked earlier, how do you know that you didn't use the 1,000 here? Factor 9 units. If I look carefully, it's saying that there are 1,000 units in one vial. The pharmacist reconstitutes vials containing 1,000 factor 9 units with Swiffy. So there's 1,000 units per vial, but we weren't looking for vials. We were looking for units per ml. So that's why we were able to avoid that. Now we are going to try again. And I know Gail likes dimensional analysis. So we're going to try again. And we are going to look at a way that we can simply, when our brain starts shutting down and you have a long question, give this a shot, okay? Because let me tell you, it's an easy way to go. We are going to look for milliliters. We know it's X milliliters of the reconstituted vial. So I look for reconstituted vial and I look for milliliters. The only place I see milliliters with the reconstituted vial is right here. It's 25 units per 1 ml. I want milliliters on top though, so let's flip that. Instead of 25 units per ml, I'm going to put, this probably isn't the most efficient way of doing it, but I'm going to put 1 ml over 25 units. What I mean by not the most efficient way is I'm typing in here instead of writing on it. Now I have units on the bottom in the denominator. I want to cross them out. What units do I need to look for to cross them out? Let's say I haven't done any of the rest of the work and I'm just looking at this. Well, I know I see units. Other than these units, I see units here. And it tells me right here that I'm going to use 50 units of factor 9 per kilogram. So let's put 50 units of factor 9 per kilogram of body weight. And now our units can cross out, but kilograms are there still. And we need to cross those out, so I'll put it in the numerator. Kilograms. Let's multiply everything on the top. 1 times 50 times 92 divided by 25 divided by 1. We'll get our answer, and guess what? It is actually exactly the same. 184 milliliters is our answer. Nice work. Okay, next question. Gail wanted to work on some What did you want to work on? Unless you have something else. Insulin questions. Insulin questions. Calculations. Why don't I do a search in here for insulin? Does that, maybe that's going to work for us. Find insulin. We'll try this one first. And then we definitely want to see insulin to carb ratio questions and correction factor, because that has been an item on the test for sure. And Vincent, awesome. Yeah, the 184. You got that a long time ago. Sorry, I didn't see your message. So keep typing in as much as possible. And hey, if you have any questions, feel free to send them in. And I want this to be more of a regular thing, that it can just be a way of answering questions. And let's get to it. Okay. Vincent, are there any other topics too in math that you wanted to cover? We'll do some insulin and see how far we get with that. And if there are any other topics, we shall do that. Okay. Here we have a question. How many milliliters? Always start with the question. It just narrows your focus. Okay, sorry, I messed that up. It narrows your focus. How many milliliters should the patient receive? So at least I know my units. It's not telling me much more about the case, but do you know you can get easily distracted in just one sentence? You might start looking for drug interactions, and it has nothing to do with that. So let's not get distracted. Let's just start with the question. And it is a select one, not a fill in the blank. We know in real life on the test, we will have fill in the blank primarily for calculations. Okay, a 55-year-old patient with type 1 diabetes is prescribed 30 units of insulin pre-meal. The insulin vial is labeled as 100 units per ml. The syringe is calibrated to 50 units per ml. How many milliliters should the patient receive? You guys working on it? Where should we start? Where should we start? What if we try it the way that we did before? I can see this being an issue for some people. The insulin vial is labeled as 100 units per ml. The syringe is calibrated to 50 units per ml. How many milliliters should the patient receive? How many milliliters should the patient receive? If we have insulin vial labeled as 100 units per ml, we know that that is the strength of the drug. Why don't we go ahead, just because the syringe is calibrated as 50 units per ml, we definitely need to work with the concentration that we're given to begin with. So how would I do that? I'm waiting for some answers here. Okay, well, why don't we try this? Why don't we try, would it make sense to say that in reality, we have 100 units per ml in the vial? So if we were taking it directly out of the vial, then we would want 30 units. We could set up a proportion and figure out how many ml there would be in coming from that vial. Let's fix that. How many? What would that be for mLs? 0.3? 0.3 mLs. Sound good? Let's go to, try another one. Here, perfect. Insulin to carb ratio. So we're going to preface this with saying, just going to put up a reminder for you. I'm not on Zoom, so I'm going to write in here. I'll write some tips. Insulin to carb ratio tells us, I'm going to put ICR, insulin to carb ratio. We use the rule of 500 for insulin to carb ratio. Rule of 500, 500 over the total daily dose. Does this sound familiar? And that would be if we have a rapid acting insulin. Remember, rapid acting insulin would be anything that ends in a log and a pedra. So going down the rapids, we are going to ride the logs going down the rapids. So that's Humalog, Novolog, and that's it, rapid acting. Where the rule of 450 over total daily dose, that is going to be for regular or short acting. And regular short acting would be anything that has an R in it, like Novolin R, right? Or it won't end in a log. It's going to be an R. And this regular is actually what we use for IV, right? We'll see that in the hospital more. How much rapid acting insulin should Bethany take to cover her meal containing 60 grams of carbohydrates, considering her insulin to carb ratio is 1 to 15? You know what? They told us what the insulin to carb ratio was here. We could even walk backwards and figure out what her total daily dose was. So they gave us this part. They said she had rapid acting, so they must have used the rule of 500. I think the higher number goes with rapid because it sounds like you're going faster, so it's a higher number. So that means 1 to 15 is like saying 1 unit of insulin covers 15 grams of carbs. She has a 60-gram carb meal. What should it be? How many units does she need for a 60-gram meal? This one was too easy. We'll have to find another one that's really calculating insulin to carb ratio. Did you get it? Should be 60 divided by 15. Or if you're one of those people that like our proportions, we can definitely do that. 15 grams of carbs is equal to 60 grams. So if 1 unit of insulin covers 50 grams of carbs, how many units will cover 60? So a proportion. 60 times 1 divided by 15, what do you get? I have to flip screens to see your answer is 4. Ryan's here. And Ahadia, did I say that right? Ahadia, I love that. Awesome. Thank you. Good job, guys. Yes. So, yep, 4 units of insulin. That's going to cover your 60-gram carb meal. How many of you eat actually 60 grams of carbs in a meal? I'm vegetarian, so I eat so many carbs. It's crazy. Yeah, that is not me right there with the 60 grams carbs. It's okay that you're late. You have the time wrong. That's fine. We're good. You know what? Let's just end it with an insulin to carb ratio question that's actually using what we need to use. I think what I'll do is, well, hopefully there's another one on this sheet because I don't yet know how to switch the screen on there. Insulin therapy says something about insulin. Here's another one to cover his meal. How about this one? Rapid acting insulin. Well, this one says it's multi-step. No, I think that's more like, I think this one, based off of the little that I'm seeing about it, I think this is actually a correction factor question. So let's try that. I'll give you a moment to look at it. Sorry. And I'll make some notes up here. So correction factor. Correction factor. To get correction factor, we have also the rule of rapid acting. Insulin, which is the higher number, just like we had the higher number earlier, the higher number 1800 versus 1500 over the total daily dose of insulin to get our correction factor. Or we have the rule of regular. Remember, regular is just R short acting. What is this patient using? Did they already give us the correction factor? No, but they did give us the insulin to carb ratio. It was just like the one before, 1 unit of insulin every 15 grams of carbs. So now we're giving us more information. The rule of regular acting is 1500 over total daily dose equals correction factor. Next step, correction, we would use blood glucose now minus blood glucose target divided by, the words aren't working, divided by correction factor, and that will get us, the number that we get is actually going to be called the correction dose. That number that we get will imply that for every 1 unit of insulin, it will drop the blood sugar, blood glucose, X milligrams per deciliter. Is it looking for the correction dose? It says if the patient's pre-lunch blood glucose reading is 180 milligrams per deciliter, how many units of rapid-acting insulin should he administer before the meal? Is he about to eat a meal? Do we need to give him the correction dose? Or would we need to give him the total meal dose? So I will make a note here that the mealtime dose will be the correction dose plus the mealtime dose for the ordinary meal. We need to cover correction plus the meal. So in this case, they're just asking how much total insulin do we need to give the patient to cover his meal and correct for the overage that he has before. Is this rapid or regular acting? What has he been using? Did it tell us? There it is. Rapid acting, you're right. You're right, rapid acting. So we get to cross this one out. We're going to use the rule of rapid acting insulin, which is the higher number. You go faster as rapid, so it's a higher number. 1800 divided by total daily dose. What was his total daily dose of insulin? Do we even have that? No, guess what? Again, they did it to us. They did it to us. They calculated it for us. See this? They called it a sensitivity factor. We call it a correction factor. It means the same thing. 1 unit of insulin for every 30 milligrams per deciliter. Okay, so they actually found that for us. We could go backwards and take some steps to see what his current daily dose was. We could figure out a lot of things here. But 1 unit will bring down the blood sugar, 30 milligram per deciliter. If that's the case, do we know how many grams of carbs or do we know, what his current target is? What is his current target? It says, did you guys write it? I have to click back to see if you wrote it. B. Oh, Ryan's already saying B. Okay. What is his pre-meal target? His pre-meal blood target glucose level is 100. Okay, that's it. We want that. So let's set that up. Here's our information that we have. We have the correction factor. Our correction factor was 30. Our blood glucose now was 180. Our target is 100. Our correction factor is 30. Subtract that and divide it. 80 divided by 30. Hey Siri, what's 80 divided by 30? It doesn't want to do it for me. How rude. 80 divided by 30. I can't do it in my head. It's 2.66666. Okay, it's 2.66. And that means our dose is 2.6. So according to my sources, all we have to do here is, sorry, it is going all over the place. All we have to do is round to the nearest whole number. So if it was 2.66, it's our next one. We round to the nearest whole number. Some hospital formularies or some hospitals will have you just round down to be safe, but we are going to round to the nearest whole number for the test. 3 units, that's our correction dose, but remember this person is having a meal on top of it, and their meal is going to be 60 grams, and we did this problem earlier, 60 grams, and we'll divide it by our insulin to carb ratio, 15. So we got 60 grams divided by 15 grams per unit, and we wind up getting 4. So that was our earlier question. We got a 4. So our total mealtime dose will be 4 units plus the correction dose. And our correction dose wound up being 3. So total of 7. Oh my goodness, 7's not an option. Well, maybe they wanted to round out. Oh, shoot. What do they want to do here? Let's go with 0.226. We're going to have to round down. We're going to have to round down here, 0.226. 266. Oh, gosh. Better eat some lunch, right? 6.66. Okay, when we say 0.66, then the closest one is 6 units. There we have it. You're all done. Okay, next time send some questions in to me beforehand, and so I don't just randomly pick things, all right? I hope you have a great rest of your day, you guys. Take care.